Power Showcase. We talk about this every year on Hot Stove. Provides a platform for top amateur power hitting prospects from all around the world. The 5th annual coming up happened actually November 6th through the 8th. It was at Globe Life Field this year. And this thing is always on our radar because you see these tape measure homers from kids that you've never heard of before. And then fast forward a few years, and there they are on your radar as major league prospects. Brian Domenico joins us every year on Hot Stove to talk about the Power Showcase. Hey, Brian, good morning to you. Thanks for the time. Man, you put together such a great event, and there's always great narratives with so many of these players. So walk us through some of your stars and some of those names we should keep our eyes on.
Well, Colin Horowitz is the first player we should definitely talk about. He's committed to Army West Point and did the event last year and finished in the finals. And we had several conversations on whether he should come back or not. And I had this inkling that he was going to win this thing and do something special.
How old is he? 25? This kid looks like a grown man.
Hey, Harold, he's special across the board. Just the mental makeup. Physically, he's about 6'4", 245, and he had a 490-foot wood bat home run with an exit velocity of 117 miles an hour.
What?
Now,
and
wrap
how
your
old
head
is
around
he?
that
Seriously?
one.
18, I think?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
go ahead.
Now listen,
continue, Brian. You're fine.
Yeah. Just I know early on in the year, you guys had a segment with Dave Raymond, who's the play-by-play guy. And you guys he had spoken with Joey Gallo about the feel of the new ballpark and whether it played big or not. And so I kind of kept my eyes on the radar of over the entire season, and including the postseason, there were 113 home runs hit in that stadium. And the furthest home run hit was by Sean Murphy with the Athletics at 464 feet with an exit velocity of 112.5 miles an hour. So I kind of wanted to have a gauge of what was going to take place, and we brought these younger guys in. So I also reached out to a gentleman who's the owner and founder of Hit Tracks, Mike DeFrancesco, who I actually went to high school with his younger brother. So we met a couple of months ago, and he flew out two of his top engineers, Bobby Peace and Alex Wojtek. So we had Hit Tracks set up to really gauge all of this stuff from exit velocity, launch angle, and get an accurate distance. And this was probably the best platform that I've ever put together, and it was incredible.
Wow, pretty amazing. Having been in that ballpark during the World Series, if you're a spectator, and I don't know, Matt, you didn't get a chance to see this or not, but every time there's a pitch thrown or a bat swung or anything like that, up on the big board, they register all the angles and everything else.
Yeah, we saw for the division series. Yeah, it's great.
Incredible what that's done. What other players stand out? Who else did you have out there?
Well, Stephen Kill is a gentleman out of South Korea, and historically he brings in incredible players, and he brought in two this year. And that lefty has something we call boogie whip. And, that was one bin show, and he hit, I think, 26 home runs total. His furthest was a 485-foot line drive off the facade right there as you're watching it on your TV screen. Like, ridiculous. I mean, just how loose he is. And then that was the walk-off right there to center field at 468 to win the event. And then he brought in a right-handed pitcher named Yoo-Sung Kim, who topped out at 94 miles an hour, and several international cross-checkers all flew in just to watch him pitch one inning.
Gee whiz. So you're definitely up on the international market.
Yeah. And Brian, how do these players come to you? Like, are you reaching out to coaches? Are they reaching out to you because you have so many countries represented at your event?
Both, to be honest with you, and there's ebbs and flows each year. I have a lot of wonderful contacts over in Europe, and if there are the talented players that fit this mold that can really shine, then by all means they're here. Now, usually that happens in Miami at Marlins Park over Christmas vacation. It's just a better time for people to travel. But anytime you get those players internationally, that always kind of opens up another level of interest across the board and continues to bridge that gap internationally.
Now, I know somebody's sitting at home going, yeah, but there's a pandemic. So how did you get around all that with the travel and getting players there and keeping them safe?
Yeah, no, great question. I think that there were several times this year that I didn't think the event was really gonna happen. And then when the World Series was announced to be held at Globe Life Field, I said, okay, there's a good chance this is all going to come to fruition. And so we had some safety protocols in place, and the Texas Rangers were really stringent about what we needed to do, and they worked very closely with the city. And we made sure that the players and coaches and staff, everybody had daily temperature checks and wellness screenings, and the kids had to wear masks every point of the event, except for when they were hitting during the competition or playing defense. But again, it worked out very well.
That's awesome.
Brian
man.
Domenico, whose Power Showcase is on our radar every year. We really appreciate the video and the recap of the event, Brian. Thanks for the time today.
Absolutely. Good to see you guys.
All right,
Thank
great
you.
seeing you, Brian. Thank
Thanks
you, man.
again.